everybody. Welcome back to Mortgage Ballers. My name is Rich Hanlin, and I have the legend with me today. Very busy, but she is taking some time out of her incredible schedule. The Miss Amanda Rawls. Amanda, thanks for spending some time with me today.
Thank you for having me, Rich. I appreciate it.
Well, tell everybody, like, I'm literally think I'm lying. Like, you're in California. Where did you just get back from?
I just got back from an SAR meeting, our Elk Grove meeting with Realtors, and I spoke on social media and video marketing.
How many people were there?
28.
Wow. Congratulations. A lot of people get afraid to even get a one-on-one. I'm like, oh no, Amanda talks to full rooms of people. You just get good at it over time. Last year you were doing EXP events, if I remember right.
2022 and 2023.
Okay.
Quite a few. And those were hundreds of agents. So absolutely. Talking about intention and how to get scrappy in business.
No, I remember you told me that, and that was like really awesome right there. A lot of people, I don't want to cut her short. Amanda's one of our best of the best. Since I've known Amanda at my last company, Answer Home Loans, if I were to take every single year that I've been in business, she has been a best of the best every single year since I've opened up my companies, and she's been with me. So the first year when I was only loan officer, I was the best of the best. But after that, she became one of the best of the best. And when I say that, it's usually like top 10. She's also one of the top female loan originators in the whole United States. That's just a fact. Anybody wants to fight with me on it? I got the numbers. Day in, day out, she can do double digits, damn near triple digits in a given month. And she doesn't just do the easy deals. Amanda knows and understands programs. She understands FHA, VA, bankruptcy laws, all the above from chapter 13 to chapter 11. She deals with attorneys, helping people out. She specializes in, she can do the easy deals, right? Anybody can. But Amanda also gets to see through all the overlays that our fellow competition can't see through and say, oh, no, you can do that. Oh, yes, and you can do that. I can put you in a home, because she's that knowledgeable. So congratulations on having that kind of knowledge. How long you been in this business?
On the 16th of April, it will be 29 years.
All right. So you're still young. No, I'm kidding. I'm going for 35. I feel so old. It's gone by fast too. But what that tells you is that you came up under the same parameters I did, where we used to have to understand underwriting. We had to understand how to write a loan. We had to understand and put our underwriter hats on, and we would need to understand the strengths and weaknesses and how they work. And then came this AUS thing, and understanding it's the same parameters and understanding why something's not getting approved and how you can manipulate the system. There's a good word for you. So you can really concentrate. So Amanda also helps people fix their credit. She understands how gifts work, how gifts of equity between family, how, down payment assistance can work. She understands how to change those parameters on AUS once she knows what's holding it up to help people get approvals and put them in houses. So many people stop short of that, Amanda. I don't know why.
Perseverance. I don't ever give up. If I feel in my heart that there's something there, I just instinctively know. And then I just have to keep moving. Whether it's adding a month of assets, truly what you have in your account right now. It may have shown nothing last month, right? But what do you have now? And, any way that I can find that way to make it work. I don't ever give up to a fault. And I'll tell you what my last processor at my last company said before I came here. Amanda, you drive me crazy with it, but I love your resilience. You end up making it happen. But sometimes there's a lot of work on these files, but we're serving hearts, and that's my tagline: serving hearts, one home loan at a time. So
no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know you and Brandy are in the same market and overlap sometimes between the two of you, but I would imagine that area between the two of you, throw Norma Souza in there and a couple other people, you guys are putting a lot of people in houses over the years. That's what's awesome. Who did I have last week? I had Summer Lopes. I had her on. Great conversation with her. We're going to get Norma Souza on here. I'm amazed at the strength of not just our originators, but we have some of the the best leaders within the industry of women loan originators. And I'm so honored by that, because when I look at the gauntlet that these people have at their resources on our Facebook page, I am amazed at who's answering some of those questions. I'm like, oh my God, that's a top person. That's a top person. That's a top person. Stephanie Gilbert chiming in. I mean, it's just, I can only stand back in awe and go, these people run circles around me.
I think we're all in it, and you definitely are the strength of us. But when it comes to the answering and serving and helping, I don't know. I don't want to say it's just women in general, because men have it too, but we are more heart servants, and we're going to try to answer more questions and try to help people. And we really want to see people win. Not that we're not competitive, right? But it tends to be more of a holding hand, let me help you get to where I am or get past me. So yeah, and we have some really kick-ass women that are here right now. And this industry hasn't, I starting in the 90s, I was always top 10%, but there was no other women beside me. It was a male dominated.
Very male oriented. Yeah.
So yeah, it's really exciting to see.
My first company that I was just an employee at, that's where I kind of got into the brokerage world. I think we had one female loan officer. And believe it or not, people, back in the day under CFL licenses, which is California DFI now, is it DFPI? DFPI. That license, not DRE, but you didn't even have to have a license. Only the broker did. And as long as you supervised, you could hire anybody you want. And my strongest salespeople, believe it or not, were door-to-door Kirby vacuum people. They had the best training, and those people would not take no for an answer. And I was amazed. I learned a lot about sales technique listening to these guys on the phone. They would work hard hours, and they were making more money than they did having to walk. And my God, they were dedicated. I don't even know. They still have Kirby vacuum door-to-door salesmen. Is that still a thing?
I don't know, but you are absolutely right. They were the best. The best.
Did you ever buy one when they came to your house?
I didn't. I wasn't going to buy $1,000, whatever it was back then. No, hell no. I could go get a vacuum for $50-$60 back in the day. So no.
Well, here's the best part. We did buy one. They got into my house. They cleaned the floor. We bought it, and they always take your vacuum with them so that you didn't have anything to fall back on. And then to get your vacuum back plus your money, if you in that 15-day cool off period, was like pulling teeth. But we fell for it. We fell for it hard.
I never let them in.
They were good. They were good. Hey, talk to me about this. I mean, Amanda, you've been doing it a long time. I'd love to hear, what's your favorite part about this industry? All these years, you could do whatever you want. You'd be successful. What's your favorite part that keeps you coming back every single year?
I probably have a couple of answers, but one that comes right to mind right now is, when people are told no. I've had so many times, either it's a bank or credit union, another lender, whomever, and a client has been told that they can't get the help and didn't think it was possible. And I made it happen. Just showing somebody possibilities and showing people opportunity and making it to the finish line and crossing the tape. That to me is that competitive part also in me, but it's really showing somebody that I can make it happen is amazing.
No, that's awesome. The fact that you figured out that many of your competitors, and I figured it out too, people don't understand the word overlay and appetite. And some of these places, especially banks and credit unions, direct lenders can do it too. They will have overlays and or the lack of appetite for under a certain credit score. I remember I was with Bank of America, and they're like, we're not going to touch an FHA under 720. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're leaving a lot on the table. Like our shareholders won't go for that, and I'm like, wow, that's some of the most lucrative business out there. In my opinion, you're missing a whole market. That was always interesting to me. When I was at Bank of America, they told me that a 33% funding ratio from imported loans into their system, if they could close 33%-ish, 35%, that was successful. And I was like, oh my God, if this was the broker world, you'd be out of business. Why would you? That means you're just Are you even pre-qualifying anybody? You know that they're not going to qualify, but that was it. They're like, your job is to bring loans in. The underwriter's job is to see if there's a way to do it. Is a assembly line. I'm like, I didn't do well because I'm like, this isn't going to go. This isn't going to go. So I would close a high percentage of my loans. I just didn't have a lot of applications. The one guy was getting an award one month for applications, and then he was getting threatened to be let go because of the fallout ratio. And I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever. I hope they do it better now. But back in the day, that's after the crash, 2008, I spent some time at Bank of America, and I learned exactly what I didn't want to do with the rest of my life. Not for me.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah. It's digging out and seeing for us as a broker, what other options are there. And not every lender that we work with will do some of these things, right? They have credit score requirements, maybe a minor overlay. But one of my biggest claim to fame, and you hit on that, was the bankruptcy, doing a loan while they're in a Chapter 13. And we have so many people that come to me that are told, no, I heard I have to wait 2 years. I heard I had to wait 4 years after bankruptcy, just even if it's a 7. I'm like, no. So just digging in, do more work and persevering. We don't fight over here. We persevere. So
Amanda, could you say that one more time? You said it, and I don't think people really heard what you just said.
sure.
That most people don't understand a Chapter 13 while you're in Chapter 13 actively, repayment plan.
Yes.
If you meet certain parameters, you can still do a loan.
You can. I can give a scenario if you want.
Please do. Explain that one.
Okay, so there is I'm a part of a bankruptcy forum here in town, and there's hundreds of bankruptcy attorneys, and they've gone from hundreds down to under 100. It's
Right.
ebbs and flows that send me clients for different reasons. And this one particular situation, they're currently in a 13. They've been in it for about 2 years, have great payment history on their bankruptcy.
Big key.
Right, total key. And they were offered the home that they currently rented to purchase. The owner wanted to sell, and they gave it them first option. And so they came back to their attorney and said, well, he said, I'm in bankruptcy. And so then they called their attorney, and he said, no, wait, call Amanda. And so I did. And we went through all of the guidelines, parameters, ran credit, got everything updated. We needed a sell. They weren't prepared to buy, right? They didn't have a large savings, but the seller offered to give them a seller credit for at least their closing costs, so they had their down payment. And do you know, we got them preliminary, we got approval. It has to then go to the courts so that the trustee,
it has to be approved.
Right? Not only did I make it happen, but they ended up paying less than what their rent was for the mortgage. I mean, it was a win-win. The trustee signed off, yes, go do it. And I mean, one of my raving fans to this day, and had refinances where they're in it. They've decided they don't want to pay this amount anymore on the BK, paid it out through a refi. There's just, it's possible, and you don't have to wait. For
in both those scenarios, did they have to, I know the refi they did, but on the purchase side, did they have to pay off the bankruptcy, or did we just have to account for the payment per month?
Thank you for that. Yeah, they didn't have to pay off the bankruptcy.
I don't think people truly understand that. That is one of the most forgotten things about, and I'm assuming that was an FHA loan.
It's only FHA and VA that will do that.
Okay, thank you. I always forget that. I forget it more than I remember it.
But what a blessing for our vets, babe. I mean,
no, it is. It's incredible. But I would tell you, B of A and the credit unions won't touch that loan. They'll tell them, oh, you're unlendable. And the people walk away and go, no, I'm unlendable. And you're like, oh gosh, you took what they told you as the finality of that question. And so many people do that. And they just go to that one source. I mean, they're the Bank of America. So therefore they must be smart and know everything. And they do know a lot of things. I'll give you that, Bank of America.
They know how to make money for themselves. No disrespect.
I wouldn't get into the loan business. I don't think they can compete in that realm because they have too many overlays and things like that. But hey, it is what it is. That's their business model. They can do their thing.
Absolutely. And I just had a revelation, is that's where the 7 years started, Rich, was the banks. They put that overlay
interesting.
Yeah, on the wait period for a bankruptcy. That is where it began. And I don't know the history of mortgage, and maybe something I want to look into, but then we got the direct lending and the brokering and everything else, which FHA, VA, and so that's where we can do it.
Now, a lot of people, I find they're starting to mess with these questions, just like on insurance. It used to be, have you smoked in the last 10 years? Now it's like, have you ever in your life smoked? I'm like, I'm going to be 58. No, I have never smoked ever in my life. Because God forbid you say, yes, I smoked one cigarette when I was 12, and it's like, oh, smoker.
No insurance for you.
No insurance for you. I'm like, so I don't like those trap questions because they just force you to say, no. Some places, have you ever filed bankruptcy? Because after 10 years, it no longer shows you've served your time. It no longer shows. Why are you asking me that question? But to get the big warehouse lines for what we do here, they ask, have you ever filed bankruptcy?
Understandable.
They want to know everything.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, there's databases that still show that stuff. They go way back. Amanda, tell me this. I mean, you're just full lots of advice. We talk all the time. Can you even give me advice? If you went back to the young Amanda coming out of high school, or even before high school, the earlier you can get to that young Amanda, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give that person versus maybe what you had?
First off, CRM. I didn't truly start managing.
Client retention management.
Yes. Having your clients in a database portal that is actively communicating with them, even though you're not having to. That's first. But secondly, this business is a personal business that ebbs and flows. And I just spoke at an engagement and for an event. And when we were talking about business and social media, I was told early on in my business that don't put all my personal stuff. I should have a personal page and a business page. And in this business, in my opinion, my business is personal. And reminding others that in this business, you are truly serving hearts and you are making it personal because you're serving people. It's a personal business. And don't forget that. It's not transactional. This is not a transactional business, in my opinion. This is a soul business where somebody's life livelihood depends on you. I mean, these are assets for people. You're helping people when they're being kicked out of a home, get a new home, whatever the case is. But just reminding that it's ebb and flow, it's personal, and to get a CRM.
No, that very true. Earlier, you understand that. Amanda, I'm up to 180 interviews, and I'm like, wow. I've only had this channel. May 1st will be 1 year, and somebody said, well, what do you learn out of it? And I said, well, I personally learn a lot. I honestly believe I know the difference between the 5 traits of a successful originator and the 5 traits of an unsuccessful originator, because it's very, very apparent as far as what you do in a day when you wake up and you go versus what they do in a day. You're both busy, but one's productive busy and one's not productive busy. And I'm going to do some more stuff about that because I am amazed. It just kind of blind. I was sitting at my house on a Sunday watching back one of my videos because it had just uploaded. I want to see what it looked like, make sure it was right. But it just dawned on me because I was making notes and I'm like, gosh, I could just hear it. Stephanie Gilbert, Catherine Barnett, Brandy Stevens. I got you because I have you from last year as one of the best of the best. And, I'm just listening to these top people. And then I'm listening to some of the other people. I interview all loan originators, right? Because my goal is to help all of them. My goal is to help everybody get at least one more deal a month on average. How can I do that? Well, by listening and giving advice from my own 35 years, but also taking bits and pieces from the best of the best and saying, hey, why don't you go watch Amanda's video? Do you have a CRM? If you don't, I could tell you the top people all do. That's not just something she's pulling out of the blue.
There's just so much to rookie loan officers or people that are struggling. There's business everywhere. What are you doing?
What are you not doing?
That part. What are you not doing? Yeah. Just going up and going to this event right now, seeing people that I haven't seen in a few months. Already got a call from somebody to help with a pre-qual, got a speaking gig already locked on. And that's just being present, showing up. So are you showing up for yourself? And that's what I talk to young loan officers right now about. and agents. I have them because scrappy is my title. Really, I find business everywhere. But it's always in places, Rich, a statement to say to new loan officers truly to help them in this beautiful servant heart career is that you don't have to go where the realtors are. As a matter of fact,
That's true.
don't go where the realtors are. And that's been something for me. I get the leads to give to realtors and I build relationships that way. Of course, I'm still there for them, but do things that others aren't.
Yeah. Hey, Amanda, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you first took that building,
yeah,
is it you that had the office that you were sharing between like two attorneys? It's Amanda's not sitting at her house right now. She actually has a commercial space that she has a couple other people that she shares it with, some other loan originators, but she's been there for a while. Yeah. But I remember you're like, oh, I've got somebody on this side. Chassie Dawson, same thing. She's got an attorney on this side. Who are the referral partners? And so many people, Catherine Barnett pointed that out. Stephanie Gilbert pointed out, they said, I try and reach out 25 people a day. And I'm like, gosh, realtors? They go, no, sometimes it's not even any realtors. It's anybody that could possibly become a referral partner. And I want to see if they're somebody I'd want to work with, because I'm not looking just to work with people I don't like. I'm looking for people that we complement each other. And it really started making me think, because I'm like, yeah, my referrals come from everywhere. They also come from past people I've done a great job for. And those are my biggest referral partners because I take care of them over and over and over. And I become a trusted resource. And so many people who are transactional, they're just burning for the next one. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm down to like 40 referral partners. At one time I had a lot more, but those 40 keep me more than busy. And sometimes it's with their business because a lot of them are investors, but they tell other investors, their kids, their family. I think I have one family that I could honestly say that I have had probably 40 referrals, from them. And if I were to look at a tree with 5 brothers and sisters of that family, I have probably had, 150 loans over the years just from this 5 sisters. It's 4 brothers, 1 sister. I'm sorry, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. And one of them was an escrow officer. 2 of them are placer title. Incredible family. Yeah. And I mean, do I take care of my referral partners all day long? Because they have taken care of me. What does that mean? I take their calls on the weekends. I take their calls after hours because this is not a 9-to-5 job. If this is a 9-to-5 job to you, then you might be in the wrong business. I don't get calls when people are at work during the day. Very seldom. It's after hours when they want to ask a question. It's after on the weekend. And that's just been my life all these years, is being accessible and being quality. And one of the best mortgage names was Answer Home Loans because that's what I did. I was answering so many questions. But another great name would be Trusted Home Loans, because if you truly can get people to the point where you're the first person that comes to their mind when they have a real estate question, hey, I'm thinking about filing bankruptcy. How will it affect me? Well, are you doing a 13? Are you doing a 7? Right? The wrong information can haunt you for life, but the right information could get you 12 referrals by tomorrow.
Totally.
I love that. You think I'm letting you off the hook. Amanda, here's a question for you. I know all about your loan life. I know you go 100 miles an hour for loan, but when you're not in loan mode, when you are not going 100 miles an hour and your hair on fire and doing crazy stuff, what kind of hobbies do you do? What does your life look like outside? Do you have a life? You're one of the top originators in the nation. Do you still have time for a life?
I have my husband and 5 beautiful children and a granddaughter.
Right on.
So I spend a lot of time with my family. My best girlfriends and I will do a quarterly getaway all the time. And yeah, I love sports. But family time to me is everything. I've lost my mom a few years ago, and so I do a lot of home stuff.
Okay, and go ahead and give the plug to your favorite sports team. They're right behind you.
Those Hawks, baby. Let's see what happens next year.
You can, if you don't know, you can catch her on Karaoke with Amanda directly in the car as she's driving home. She captures it all. And here's the thing: so many people are like, oh, I could never do that, and I'm like, You got to try it because it's pretty fun. Just relax. And people, I think for some reason, so many people are so uptight, worried about what they look like. But I'm telling people it's the perfection that's in the imperfections. I'm wearing a Georgia hat today. Some people don't like UGA. I get it. I had a jacket on over this, but it was getting hot in here. So guess what? I'm wearing a t-shirt, and guess what? You can see my tattoo right there. Good for you. Either
Right.
you like it or you don't.
Right. And you know, Rich, this is what I talked about earlier today to these realtors. You know, I asked, and going on the social media tip, because I think if you're not, well, this is just my opinion. No judgment. There's business everywhere. Social media is free. It is a
It
free
can be
activity.
free for sure.
It can be. I mean, the initial thing is it's free. I put myself out there. I don't pay for ads. Facebook pays me. I get paid every month from Facebook, by the way.
It's okay to say that. You are the market maven.
I'm just telling you. And I've made great money based off of my free social media campaigns. But what I said to them was, nobody cares what you look like. It's not about a certain camera. It's not about hiring somebody. Go in your car. You know, they pulled up some of my videos. Today, one was on grief. I've been on a grief journey because I lost a best friend last week from high school, and I'm feeling a lot more. You know, we go through stages in our life, and I'm the healthiest I've ever been, and I'm feeling so much, so I'm sharing. It's not loans. This is life. We're all on this journey together. And I say this to my clients. They're embarrassed about how much they have in debt. I'm like, you're not alone. You're not alone. So I think the connectedness, you know, the authenticity.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter what you look like. They don't see what you see, you know, and it's not anything special. I'm in my car rolling with Rawls, right? And I'm going to start that. I think I'm going to start that. I told my husband.
That rolled off your tongue pretty good. Rolling with Rawls. I liked it.
Don't we do a lot of thinking in the car? I'm like,
I picture all the California suns on your dash going, if you want to ride, ride rolling with Rawls. There you go.
my mother's 80s, right? I don't know. I was trying to go down that road, but yeah, rolling with Rawls. I love it. That's a good little catchy song.
You know, I am going to capture you. We're going to talk. I'd love you to take us through your social media presentation. I think a lot of people can learn from that. But I've also been doing it backwards. So many people just want to lead with, "Hi, I'm a loan officer. Hi, I'm a loan officer. I'm a loan officer. Hi, I'm a real estate agent," and it's guilty on both sides. And I'm like, anymore, I don't want to know anything about you until I get to know about you, because I want to make sure we align before we ever do business. And so I'm trying to teach people align first and then come in. You know, that's the only thing with certain places, but social media allows us to do that. I was telling somebody the other day, they're like, you know, Rich, why do you do these? And part of it is to say, you know what? It was painful at first. Now it's gotten a lot easier to sit and talk to people. But I know this, I can make 10 calls to 10 realtors and or possible referral partners and say, hey, here's my app Mortgage Ballers on YouTube. Check it out. I'd love to get an hour with you. I'm going to send you an email with my link. I will capture you. I will promote it and get you a couple thousand views to try and help your business. And what do I get in return? Am I asking? I never ask for business. I never ask for a damn thing. What I say is, I want to spend an hour. I just get an hour with these people, and we're talking just like you and me are right now. And they're going to get to know Rich Hanlin. And at the end, they might find out, hey, by the way, you're a loan officer too. Oh my God. You know, I built a comfort before we ever got to talk about business. And sometimes we don't talk business. I'm going to give them that quality video either way, but that works better for me. I don't want to get hung up on 100 times a day, but I can get the same things that I learned from my coaching. I just do it from a backdoor perspective because I get a better response. That works for me. And I'm trying to teach people there's front doors and back doors to get to the same results and or sometimes better results. And it starts with a basis, and this is true of everything. The more I bless and or help others achieve what they want, the more I get out of it anyways, because they go, oh my God, I did. Hey, you helped so-and-so with that last week. Could I do that? Hell yeah, you can. I have to actually turn it off. I had to go to a calendar because there's only so many hours in a day that I can do videos. And so 4 hours a day, I slotted out for videos, and it's first come, first serve. But I am amazed how many people get scared of that, and they don't want to talk. And I'm like, I do this for our loan officers. I did it for an insurance agent the other day because I was very impressed with her. I have another insurance agent I'm going to do that I met, and I'm like, let me videotape you. You're trying to get it up and running. You
Yeah.
know your stuff, but no one's ever going to find you unless somebody helps you get seen. So I will help you get seen.
Yes.
So who cares about all that? I mean, we're not talking about
Oh,
me. Don't try and change the subject, Amanda.
it's the give and take. And I think these are important topics because when you're going in to see how you can help others, the universe does everything they can to give you that same thing back. It's science. It's everything. It is truly how life works. So once you
I
get
agree.
that, master that, it's cakewalk.
Tell me this. What's a lesson you learned the hard way, but you're now grateful for? See how I snuck that in on you?
Yeah, lesson.
That'll quiet her down real quick. Do you see that?
Yeah, that really shut me up. Gosh, a lesson I learned everybody is truly doing the best that they can.
Say that again. Say it a little louder.
Everybody is truly just doing the best that they can.
Very
And
true.
we get so caught up in judgment, and you see it a lot on social media, and that energy can actually, shift and staying out of judgment has been the safest place for me because who the hell do I think I am? I think that's been the hardest, biggest blessing that I've really felt probably in the last 7 or 8 years, truly. And, I think we're always learning. So that's something that I try to share with my children, but I didn't realize how much I was probably doing that myself.
Yeah. God humbled me really good in 2018. And after I got humbled financially in 2008, I got humbled from a marriage standpoint because I was really taking a lot of things for granted with the person that's probably the most important person in my life and has walked with me through every step. I'm very thankful that we figured that stuff out. And I'm not afraid to talk about it because if you're in this industry and your spouse isn't, you might have some stress points because it never turns off. We can't afford to miss that one call. And you're either working your butt off because you have too many loans and you're going 100 miles an hour, or your pipeline isn't full and you're working your butt off to fill it. There's very few times where it feels balanced. And I blinked an eye and 35 years has gone by and I've been living this crazy teeter-totter thing for a long time. We're having record months right now since January as far as imports. Something's going on. So I think the beginning of the next run has started. So I'm feeling happy for my originators. I want to see them blessed more than anything.
Me too.
But
Me
it's
too.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was humbled with that same situation 4 years later after you. And, I think tests come. And that's something to really bear in mind too. I mean, from a personal standpoint, this business is personal.
Yeah, it is.
And, as a competitive, driven, always going to be top 10%. And I feel like but in that arena, we sometimes focus on the wrong things or not too much on those things that really, really matter to us, like our spouses, like our families. But our intention is there because we're doing it for the family, right? I mean, sun up to sundown. That's a good thing to have some balance. If that's something to really share with new loan officers, creating that balance from the beginning, because you could lose everything by putting everything into some vehicle that you want to provide for that. You know what I say? It's like a vicious, yeah. So
No, I'm with you on that. All right. Can I ask you a question? I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. I think other people would want to know this. What inspired you to start this journey and what has kept you going?
That's a great question. So I love that question. In 1996, I was a bill collector and I was a single mom. And that job, I realized when I started it that I had to find a job because I didn't have a college degree and I didn't have a good partner at the time, that I had to find a job to provide for me and my kid. And he was a few months old and I got a job. I received a job answering an ad to become a bill collector. Now it was base plus commission. About 6 months later, I met my husband there. I actually was his manager by that time. And I was there for 2.5 years, Rich. And in that 2.5 years, I swear to God, he and I both thought we were there for 5. It sucked the bloody life out of me, right? You're calling people. It just wasn't in a line with my soul's purpose. You're calling, threatening, doing this. You better pay me. It's so much toxicity. But again, there's a blessing in every storm. And when I was there were loan officers from Transamerica and Beneficial that used to walk through. And they would try to hit us up to send the debtors, the borrowers, to them to do a loan to then pay us off. Well, they sucked. They didn't ever make it happen. And so fast forward, I'm in my last month there, and it's weighing on me. But I don't realize that yet. And I get approached by somebody asking if, Amanda, this isn't for you. It was just an angel outside of me. Sean was probably about 6 or 7 years older than I. And he was going back to the loan company. He worked for, who was the big one? Long Beach.
Long Beach, okay.
Long Beach. And he was going there to be a manager. And he said, I really think you'd be great as assistant manager. This isn't for you. And I'm like, Sean, what do you mean? So that night I go home, I planted the seed, and I talked to my dad, who was a 25-year service advisor at Ford. Always passed up for the manager job, was fucking miserable. Sorry, but he just was. He was running his life just to get up at 5, go to work, come home by 8, just, ugh. And he said, well, babe, how much money are you making at the collection agency? Now, mind you, I was 24 years old. Well, shit, Dad, I'm making about $3,500 a month. And I saw his eyes, right? Like, damn, that's great money at your age. Why would you leave?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I decided, okay, well, shit, it's my dad. But I always remembered, why would I leave? I said, well, I'm miserable. It's awful. Like, I'm calling people, but you're making good money. Okay. So then fast forward, a couple weeks go by, stroking Sean. I'm not calling him back. That's collector term, right? Like when somebody calls you, don't call back. And my final call was a lady who was supposed to pay me $13,000. And she had been stroking me, they say, for 3 weeks, where she wasn't calling me back. I finally get her on the phone. And when I get on the phone, I said, hey, you promised to pay me, and she goes, man, I'm so sorry. The day I was to pay you, I rolled over in bed to my husband dead. And he was the breadwinner. They had 6 kids. I mean, I knew everything about this lady. And he was dead. And I was like, oh my gosh, hold on. So I'm like, John, I need to talk off, what's the story? And I told him, and he said, she should have paid you the whole balance, the balance when it was due. I'm sure there's a life insurance policy. Go in and get the rest of the money. On everything holy. Don't you ever pay this effing bill. There's no attorney on site. You go take care of your family. Don't worry about this ever. Bless you. I'm so sorry for your loss. Block this number from this company. Have a great day. Sean, are you hiring? I almost gave up on you, Amanda. Literally, I was going to call somebody tomorrow. Literally started the next week. In April 16th, 1996, literally started there. Was like, it was just not aligned with my soul. That is how I started in the mortgage business. And then, let's not forget what the hell I did then. I took that business in collections, because I knew what they weren't doing right?
Right.
Now I'd been a bill collector. Now I was becoming a loan officer. I went, and this is when we could do every state. I hit up Seattle, Florida, Texas, Arizona. I had collection agencies in LA, and I was hitting up collection agencies to send me their debtors, and it just blew up. So I took where I came from, what I knew, and turned it into something positive and beneficial.
I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer it. You're not going to want to, but you were making that $3,500 a month. You did that. You walked away from it. In your first year going to Long Beach, what'd you make?
I didn't actually. We ended up going to Advanta. He changed it.
Okay, Advanta. Okay.
Oh gosh. Not fair. The first 7 months we were base plus salary. When I became fully self-employed by 7 months, my first year, I think I made 85.
Yeah. I hope people understand that at that point in time, the 97, 98, that was a lot of money.
It was a hell of a lot of money. And by 33, I made my first $1 million.
Yeah, I knew that part.
I wasn't going to do that in the collection business. And people are caught up in, what can I make? Shit, you can make whatever you want. It's up to you, right? But, Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do that in the collection business. That's for damn sure.
And that's you had a kid, and I understand our parents, they want what's best for us. My parents weren't risk takers. They felt they couldn't afford to take a risk. I've always lived my life like, well, I feel like I could easily fall back to this, so therefore I'm going to take risks because I want to try and do better than what everybody has destined me to do. I was supposed to climb poles for a utility company, and I worked my summers there during college, and being out in the sun all day, man, it cooked me. And I'm like, there's no way I could do this for a lifetime. I was good at it, physical, but I was like, I don't want that. That's not me.
Yeah.
But I love closed doors, and I love the doors that open when you're willing to walk away from what you thought was a path. Because we can go through the forks all day. I guarantee you have a ton of forks in your life.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was definitely one of them. And I guess beating a dead horse, but when it comes from our teachers, from our people, whoever we consider teacher in our life, whether it was our grandmothers, our parents, they come with their own set of thoughts and upbringings, right? And that's not right or wrong. And my brother actually asked me this when I was 30 years old, and he saw I bought my first house at 26. I was 3 kids at that time. But he says to me, man, how come you think this way? What the hell are you talking about? We're almost 5 years apart. I'm like, what are you talking about, Cork? He's like, when it comes to mom and dad, and last that.
Right. Yeah. No, I like it. I like it. Amanda, you've been so successful in what you do. You don't owe anybody anything. You've always forged your own path. You do your own thing. You're self-employed. You have to make it work. Otherwise you don't get paid, but you've done it so long that I'm assuming the person you trust the most is yourself, because you know that you're going to come through. I have those days too. And I'm like, man, I'm tired. I feel like I just worked an uphill battle, but I shake it off and I just keep going, and I part of it is maybe because people are waiting. I know there's another hard situation out there waiting for Rich Hanlin to step in and help. I love it when people call and say, hey, Rich, can I just ask you a question? I'm like, hell yeah, ask me all the questions you want. I won't hold back. And I love it that I can answer most of those questions with authority after all these years. People say, well, Rich, I'm new to the industry. I'm like, cool. I had to learn, and I started somewhere, and I started as a processor. So I started learning loans, and then I've closed a lot of loans. I've done a lot of personal stuff in my life to where I just became more well-rounded to have a lot of different conversations. But I'm honored when people actually want my opinion on something, that they think, well, you guys are where you are at. Could I run an idea by you? I'm like, yeah, I might not know your industry, but I'll give you my 2 cents worth. Just the fact that they've asked me, I like to give them time. And I love my new calendar because they can get an hour uninterrupted of my time, which I want to give people quality time. I don't want to give them drive-bys. Those days are done for me. No more drive-bys. Amanda, I know we can talk forever. But I would like to I would like to have another conversation with you where we talk about your presentation that you gave. Because I think people are going to ask, like, well, what's the presentation?
Yeah.
So we'll follow up on that.
Okay.
And I would like to get some recordings rolling with Rawls.
Okay. I got you. Yes.
But man, I wish you nothing but prosperity in 2025. I have personal investment in you because you invest personally in me. People wonder who Amanda is to me. She's one of the people I go to when I need advice, when I need a pick me up, when I'm not feeling it. Brandy Stevens, when I'm not feeling like, these are people I've known for a while, and I know they walk the walk and talk the talk in the same alignment with me. And I need someone to kick me in the butt once in a while and pick me up. And knowing that everybody, I feel, should have some type of circle that they can go to. And I love seeing these little partnerships that people are doing, because we're doing this electronic. I'm in Georgia right now. Amanda's in Elk Grove, California, and we're connecting right now electronically. Boundaries are a thing of the past. My quality go-to is sitting right there in Elk Grove right now. We're talking 3 hours time difference. So excuses are like noses. And look around, people. Go to the mall. They all have them. Look, Yeah, I wish you nothing but the best. I love that you share your heart, you share your wisdom, and you do it freely. I'm going to put contact information. There could be some loan officers that really would like the opportunity to maybe talk to you, maybe get some coaching from you, maybe get some wisdom from you. And I know that your heart's always open to that. Um, but I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you do, all you've done for me and my family, but me personally, because I would have been out of this industry a long time ago if there weren't people like you to tell me that there's a good side to this industry too. There really is. It's not just about greed and numbers and things like that. And I love that alignment. So thank you so much for all you do for people, and keep going. They're gonna have to drag us out of this business is basically the way it's gonna go down.
Well,
Wait a
Richard,
minute.
thank
Wait.
you.
Well, right on. There you have it, people. We captured her. She's one of the best in the nation. In the nation, not just California, in the entire nation, one of the top loan originators, let alone one of the top female originators, even on top of that. And year in and year out, ever since I've known her, and I'm going to say it's been like 8 years, maybe 9. She has been a top producer, and I was amazed when I saw the numbers that she can do. And I'm thinking, I've never seen anybody do numbers like that. Like, who does 25 loans in a month? Who does 30 loans in a month? Like, I know whole brokerages that's how much they do in a month, let alone one originator. But guess what? Amanda hangs out with other people that do those kind of numbers too. Funny how that works. But thank you for your time today, Amanda. I can never say thank you enough for all you do. And I can't wait to see where this year takes you. I think we're getting ready to start, and I want you to have the blessings beyond belief, because I know what you're doing for people. Every one of those loans are being blessed by someone who really cares. And your heart is to put people in homes and to help people. And we'll be talking some more. All right, everybody, you have it. That is Amanda Rawls out of Elk Grove, California. I'll put her contact information. But like I always do when I close out my videos, stay thirsty, my friends. All right, Amanda.